Chapter 9. Fear, Uncertainty, Doubt. Marcus was the first to arrive at class. He mentally replayed his argument with Diana, trying to identify what he could have done differently. As the classroom filled with students, each sat silently immersed in their own world. Jordan was MIA again. A few students were sporting tech on the insides of their wrists. This placement was less popular than concealing it beneath clothing, but more common than wearing it in the center of the forehead, a practice propagated by the myth it amplified tech. Whatever their reality looked like, Marcus thought, it couldn't compare to Brad's lab last night. Everyone's attention converged as Bill entered. "Welcome to another day on the right side of the grass." "What does that mean?" Jack asked. He was the class's resident expert on data, and a British citizen with no discernible accent. He had a pale complexion, sandy blonde hair, a short beard that accentuated his long neck, and a thin physique. "You're alive, or you'd be on the other side of the grass." A few of the students giggled at this explanation. "Today we'll make like sophists and formulate an antithesis argument." Bill paced the room. "By attacking yesterday's idea that we have free will to make choices, we'll explore the belief that any attempt to exert free will is like swimming against a raging river, one that drowns you without ever noticing. We'll start at the macro level with a topic as massive as the Confederation, and end at the micro level with the tiny threat of toxoplasmosis." "The parasite?" asked Jack. "Exactly," Bill affirmed. "Since we're going to criticize the notion of free will, let's agree on a definition first. Who has one?" "Free will is how we push back on the universe," said Amita. "I love it," Bill perked up. "Let's run with that." "But you're wrong, right? The universe has already been predetermined." "I don't think so," Amita responded. "You're mostly alone in that belief," Bill countered. "Whether it's called luck, fate, destiny, or randomness, the majority of people believe their path is determined. Are they wrong? And before you answer, consider this. If we take the entire history of the universe and condense it down to a single cosmic year, a metaphor used by Carl Sagan, our solar system didn't form until late August. Dinosaurs lived a whole 5 days, from December 25th to December 30th, and primates like us showed up on December 31st. Just after 2 in the afternoon. The pyramids were constructed 12 seconds before midnight, and the modern world has existed for the literal last second." "Whoa," said Che. Though his immigrant parents named him after the nefarious communist, he typically sided with the capitalist faction of the class. He had a smile that lit up the room, the body of a classical statue, golden brown skin, and short curly black hair. After Jordan, he was Marcus's favorite classmate. Bill smirked. "Damn right. Let's take this time metaphor further. If we represent the history of known human civilization, the 10,000 years since the Younger Dryas cataclysm as 24 hours, then your life fills the final 11 seconds. "How long would our life be on the cosmic clock?" asked Che. 10,000 times faster than a blink of the eye." "Will that change thanks to the Federation?" asked Marcus. Like he'd been waiting in the shadows for the word to be spoken, Jordan unexpectedly arrived. "Mr. Kilravok," Bill welcomed. "We've missed you. I assume you've been busy celebrating?" Marcus caught Jordan and Bonnie exchange smiles as his friend settled at the back of class, far from his usual seat next to Marcus. This slight was intentional. "Definitely," Bill said to Marcus before interlacing his fingers and twiddling his thumbs. "Assuming we don't all die during a Confederation invasion first, I bet humans live much longer thanks to Federation knowledge. But that doesn't change how tiny the window is for our existence, and this is where all choice happens as we currently understand it. Even if you're capable of making a choice right now, 99.98% of existence has already led to this moment. Some call that pure determinism." "Isn't that predestination?" asked Jack. "It has many names," Bill replied. "Yesterday you told us we could choose our job or who we marry," Lindsay challenged. "And that's all true, we can." "Let's assume I was previously correct, and we can choose those things. We can only marry from among a subset of the living, and the job we work has to exist unless we're going to create it. Even then, we're still locked in by existing technology." "What does that mean?" asked Amita. "Technological lock-in, or path dependency, means the decisions of our ancestors, whatever their motivation, determine the choices we face today." "If that's true, do we have free will?" "Isn't technology proof we can change the universe like Amita said?" Marcus asked. "Human history has been defined by our ability to push back on nature and create a new world. It was hard work accomplished through calculated, correct choices. The current state of our technology is incapable of stopping the Confederation, just like we can't go back in time and kill baby Hitler, or stop an asteroid from hitting Earth tomorrow. Those events determine the world we face today. Choices be damned. We could stop an asteroid, Quinn boasted. I doubt Bruce Willis can save us. Bill beamed. And 50 years ago, the answer would have been an indisputable negatory, Roger, Roger? Doesn't that support the idea that through choices we can shape our future world? Asked Sukanksha. Sue was a soft-spoken international student from India, whose brilliance matched her beauty. She had welcoming brown eyes, dark hair, and an alluring smile. She was always the first person to pair up with Marcus during group assignments. For the sake of argument, let's say we could pull it off. As impressive as that might be to us, do you think the Confederation, or the Federation for that matter, would share our sense of accomplishment, given their technological superiority? We simply cannot stop either force on our own. It's not a choice we have available to make, and probably never will. We can choose to work with the Federation, Marcus replied. I don't think it's fair to call that a choice, Jordan retorted. I agree, said Amita. Let's avoid a turf war on that point, gentlemen. Instead, answer this. Bill posed the question to Marcus. You mentioned nature. Which do you believe is more powerful, nature or nurture? Marcus took the bait. Probably nature. Why? Bill asked. I've seen it in action in my brother's chocolate lab. She's the quietest dog you've ever met until she rides in a car, then she goes crazy. Like absolutely nuts, whining and barking until you let her out to run alongside the vehicle like a wolf in the pack. She couldn't be happier when she does it. She comes alive. It's pure instinct. It may be deep down, but it's still in there. It's just her nature. Excellent example, Bill exclaimed. And isn't that an argument in favor of a deterministic nature, since she can't change what she is deep down? Marcus realized the booby trap he'd stepped into. That was the argument for eugenics, said Bill. Generations of scientists tried to use the technology of their day to steer our nature in a new direction. But it's been a failure. In the case of your brother's pet, a force it couldn't stop changed it into a dog in appearance only. Deep down, the wolf is still in there. This animal had no say either way. That's doubly deterministic, isn't it? Wasn't eugenics pseudoscience? Asked Che. The jury is still out. Our DNA contains the collective history of billions of years on this planet, and we still don't understand how it all works. That means every theory to this point and any choices made based on those theories was incomplete, and the causal relationships were uncertain, even if occasionally predictive. Believing that because humans can make a chocolate lab, we've therefore figured everything out about genetics is definitely wrong. Imperfect information is the real problem, then? Asked Sue. That's an important limitation. Human knowledge is finite, meaning we can never know everything that affects a situation. So any choice we make, like tinkering with genes, is done under uncertainty. How can we have free will if we're only guessing? The fact we know so little should give us pause. And to make matters worse, technological empowerment is also breeding doubt these days. Deepfakes, said Jack. That's one worthwhile example. I don't know what that is, admitted Che. Several of the other students nodded in agreement. AI-generated falsehoods, Jack explained. It can be audio, video, or any other digital format. The artificial intelligence uses past examples to create a fake alternative future. They're getting so good it's almost impossible to tell what's real anymore. In such a situation, Bill posited, where you can be tricked into believing something that's false, do you still have free will? Now let's go a step deeper, pun intended. What about mind control? Like HARP? Jordan asked excitedly. What's HARP? Lindsay responded. The High-Frequency Active Auroral Research Program, Jordan explained. It's electromagnetic warfare our government has waged against the public for decades. They can implant ideas and emotions in people's minds with elves. Santa's little helpers? Gwen mocked. No, elves, as in extremely low frequencies. They can even use the technology to kill. Quinn led a chorus of sighs and snickers at Jordan's claim of conspiracy. Our university did research for the Air Force to show how much electromagnetic energy is needed to destroy people's internal organs. Educate yourself. It's interesting you bring up HARP, said Bill. I know from conversations with the Federation that they believe programs like HARP are the result of the Confederation's long-standing, albeit clandestine, involvement in human affairs. They use fear to create a crisis of confidence, then offer the only solution. That way we'll beg to be saved and they can do whatever they want with us. Marcus observed Velia stroking one forearm with the index and middle fingers of her other hand. Bullshit! Jordan shouted. That's deflection. Pay no attention to the actual aliens here now, right? It couldn't be them. No, it's gotta be some other still unseen and unproven alien threat. Harp was running long before the Federation arrived, Marcus challenged. How do we know they weren't working with the government before disclosure? Whistleblowers claimed a project was in the works several decades before their arrival. Anyone else catch today's PSA? That kind of space show is straight out of Project Bluebeam's playbook. The Federation is out in the open now, so the logical assumption is that it's been them all along. Let's bring this back down to Earth and talk about other proven forms of mind control, said Bill. Namely, toxoplasmosis. This parasite can permanently change the fear instinct in mice, so they'll get eaten by a cat. Why does it do that? Asked Sue. The parasite only reproduces inside a cat's digestive system. The strategy helped it become one of the world's most common parasites. So here we have an example of something microscopic that can alter the ability of a bigger animal to make choices. But that's just for pussies, Quinn declared. It's also in humans, and it's linked with severe changes in behavior. Like what? Jack interrupted. Schizophrenia for starters, but suicide and other risky behaviors also show a strong correlation, Bill stated. To emphasize this point again, if something as small as a parasite can control us, do we have free will? And this is a detectable force. What if there are other unknowable forces at work? What about the Oversoul? Asked Lindsay. Bill smiled from ear to ear. You read my mind better than one of Jordan's government agents. We studied Ralph Waldo Emerson a few weeks back during our discussion of transcendentalism in antebellum America. What if Emerson was right, and we're all part of a larger collective soul that manifests in clusters of individuals who keep reincarnating to learn and bridge a great divide together? The Oversoul, as he called it. Do you have the choice to come back to this world? Did you choose this life, or was it chosen for you? How would those things impact your perception of free will? Why don't we remember it, then? Asked Che. Countless ancient myths explain this. The one you're probably most familiar with is the idea of drinking from the river Lethe, which you might know is the Waters of Oblivion, not to be confused with the Tom Cruise sci-fi film of the same name. If we want to get crazier than a Scientologist here, what if astrology has a mechanism we don't understand? Are there deterministic qualities to your nature given when and where you were conceived in the larger universal spatial sense? Johannes Kepler, the famed astronomer, believed this to be true. If he was right, how would that affect the existence of free will? What a mind trip, Sue said somberly. Many of those same ancient cultures believed that fear limits our ability to reach higher levels of consciousness. Entire sets of choices that require a calm mental state could be out of our reach. Whether the fear originates from a microscopic parasite, a government gone awry, or an alien threat. That seems pretty far-fetched, Amita added. Absolutely, Bill shouted at full volume, startling everyone. See how you feel right now? The anxiety and cloudiness? Fear, uncertainty, and doubt are the ultimate tools of control. When people believe there's no way out, they tear themselves and each other apart. But fear keeps us alive, Quinn challenged. Does it? Do you feel capable of responding rationally right now? Of course Quinn was overpowered by the ear-splitting blast of an air horn, which Bill materialized with the mystique of a magician, sending the class's hearts racing again. How about now? Bill screamed. Quinn struggled to respond. Do you know how to survive an encounter with a bear? Bill asked calmly. What? Quinn was still consumed by shock. How do you survive coming face to face with a bear? The spoiler is that you can't let fear guide your choices. You have to stay calm and assess the bear's mental state. Specifically, whether the bear is in a defensive or offensive mode. For the former, you must squash any notion that you're a threat. And for the latter, you need to show that you're ready to fight. That's your free will in a single constrained moment. Regardless of where the bear's mind is at, if you succumb to fear and run, the bear ends up with a tasty treat. Bill's joke landed, and the class's collective spirit climbed. Bill continued playing devil's advocate, driving home the idea that choice was an illusion by invoking limits to human cognition from injuries, mental illness, chemical impairment, and the beliefs of past eras involving demons and witches. Marcus's mind started wandering to the thought of his next sequence. According to Brad, Like the souls from Bill's system of reincarnation, Marcus wouldn't have any memories of tonight's experience. The idea resurfaced emotions of last night, and his heart started palpitating. Anxiety must have been painted across his face because Bill snapped him back to the present. You feeling okay, Marcus? What? Yes, sorry, I was just lost in thought. You look worried, Bill said, genuinely concerned. It's nothing, but thanks. This is probably a good place to end. To recap our antithesis argument, if you have free will, which is debatable on the deterministic nature of cosmic time alone, the choices available for you might be trivial in nature. Thanks to imperfect information, the chances of successfully shaping your interaction with the universe are basically zero. You're just a scared primate driven by uncertainty and possibly paralyzed by fear-inducing parasites as small as toxoplasmosis or as large as the Confederation. Cerebrate on that. I'll see you all Friday.